Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie and I couldn't let this month pass without doing a Pride Mani, and this June flavor of the month from CNDD Dips was absolutely perfect for the Mani I had in mind. So they have all the colors of the rainbow from the main line, so these are the colors and they are glittery and gorgeous. And then for the bundle, they created this dip. This is Bejeweled Rainbow, I believe is the name of it. And it is such a gorgeous glitter and it goes perfectly for this mani. So I'm going to use a couple of the colors for full nails, and then I'm going to do a rainbow accent nail. But of course, you know, I had to use this glitter as well. So let's jump right into it. I was sort of planning this mani as I was doing it. So as a start, I wanted to start with a full nail of the purple, of course. So this is Stars Collide from the main line. And I think all of the glitters in these mainline colors are the same type of glitters and they're just different colors. And I love how it's kind of uniform like that. But for Stars Collide, I'm going to do a full finger on my index finger. So I started with a full layer of dip base on my entire nail, and then I went ahead and poured over. And the only reason I poured over is just because the jars are so full. And then once I have that, I want to make sure that I'm taking my precision tool and I'm cleaning up my cuticle area. I want to make sure that I don't have any excess product on my skin. And it also helps clean up my cuticle area a little bit more, just because I like, as much as possible, I like to have clean cuticle lines. Still working on making them cleaner, but the precision tool definitely does help. So you can see here, it looks like I didn't get good coverage, but it's really just the acrylic powder that's mixed in there. So when I dust off, you can see more of that true glitter, that it isn't that it was sparse. It's just the acrylic powder that you saw sitting on top because I poured over. But then you'll really see that pop of glitter once I start applying that second layer of dip base, because I'm going to do 2 layers of this just because I want even more coverage. But look at how beautiful this glitter is. I just can't get over it. And I was covered in glitter after I was done with this mani, because all 6 colors that I used are all glitters, but it was so worth it. If you like any of these colors, I definitely recommend that you pick them up while it's still the month of June, because any colors that are part of the flavor of the month for that month are 50% off, which is just an amazing deal. So every month, I always look forward to what new bundle CNDD Dips is going to come out with, because I just love that it takes the guesswork out of pairing colors. Since everything I'm using today is a glitter, I'm just going to go ahead and wait till the end to cap all my nails in clear all at one time, just to save a little bit of time. But I'm going to go ahead and dust off the excess powder and just admire this purple a little bit. And at this point, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my ring finger just yet, so I'm going to go ahead and move on and then I'll figure it out later. So I want to use Bejeweled Rainbow, which is the color that was created for this bundle specifically, and this glitter is just some rainbowy just gorgeousness. So I'm going to do that on my thumb and my pinky. Did I already say that? Anyway, so it's a bit of a chunkier glitter. It may have some foils in there as well. So for my first layer, I'm going to apply a thin, even layer of dip base to my entire nail, and I'm going to pour over into my Chaos Gemerald, because for my first layer, I want to have less of the chunkier glitters in my first layer, because I'm going to do 2 full layers and I don't want my nails to be super bulky. After I pour over, I always make sure that I'm patting down the glitters and foils just to make sure everything is laying flat while the dip base is still wet, because I don't want anything sticking up, because then I would file through it. And I'm super lazy, so I always just use my finger and then make a mess on my finger, because then I have like glitters stuck to it because there's a dip base there. If you don't like that, you can use like a little finger cut or a little bit baggy, but I'm just too lazy to do that, so I just use my finger. Now I'm excited to get into the really fun part of doing a rainbow accent nail. So I'm going to use all the colors in the flavor of the month except for the Bejeweled Rainbow that I did on my thumb and pinky, but I'm going to make an actual rainbow, and this one was so fun. And I'm excited about this because I've been trying something out, because I always hate how like the dip base brush is really too large to do nail art, but a regular liner brush, you can ruin it if you use it with dip base because they're really meant for gels. But I'm going to show you how I use a liner brush with my dip base and restore it so I don't ruin it. And I'm super excited because I've been testing this out for probably a little over a month now and using it semi-regularly, and I haven't had any issues. So far it's working, so I'm going to share that as well in case you want to do some nail art using dip base. So this is the brush I'm going to be using. This is from Beetles. I get it off of Amazon. I'll leave it linked down below in the description. So you can see the brush is soft and I have been using it with my dip base. So I'm just taking this little baggie and I want to apply a little dip base to the baggie because I want to be able to easily pick up that dip base. Obviously dip base is dry, so is in air dry, so I do have to move a little bit quicker. But I'm going to start backwards. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the rainbow and I'm going in Roy G. Biv order backwards. So I picked up some of that dip base with my brush, and then I'm going to dip into my purple, which is, I forgot what it was called. Anyway, I'm going to dip into the purple and I'm going to start with that first. So it does go a little bit slower because I want to do one color at a time. So I will need to wait till my dip base is fully dry before I can dust off the excess and move on to the other color, because the other color is going to be right on top of that. So I need to make sure that the excess powder or glitter is removed first. So I'm just going to make sure everything's nice and clean. You saw me with the flat end of my cuticle pusher. I just wanted to make sure that line was cleaned up a little bit more. And then so that's like the starting point of my rainbow. So I'm starting with purple because I'm going backwards from rainbow order. And then the same thing, I'm going to pick up my liner brush, pick up some of that dip base, and then I'm going to create a line above that purple. So the next color is going to be my blue. So I want to make the lines a little bit thicker just so you can see the color, but I don't want it too thick to where the rainbow, I can't fit the whole rainbow on my nail. And I kind of want it to be an accent. I don't want to take up my entire nail. So I do want it like a smaller rainbow at the corner, but enough to where you can see each color, if that makes sense at all. So once I've got that dip base down, I'm going to dip into the blue, let that dry for a little bit and make sure before I dust off any of the powder, because I don't want to dust off that purple blue. But I will do a second layer. It's not going to be just that one layer, but I'm going to do one full layer of the rainbow, and then I will go in and do my second layer of the rainbow. So you can see how it's kind of shaping up. You can hopefully start to see where that rainbow is starting to form. My dip base isn't dry yet, so I'm dipping my liner brush back into my dip base that I have on my baggie. And then above the blue, I'm going to draw just a little bit of a thicker line above the blue for my green. Once I have my dip base down, I'm going to dip into that green so that I pick up more of the green. And one thing I did notice is I did kind of miss the sidewall a little bit, but I'll clean that up a little bit more with my second layer. I'm just really concentrated on getting like my base down for my rainbow, and then the second layer will be a bit easier. And the good thing about the CN Designer dip base with this nail art is that it is actually quicker dry once you dip into the glitter or powder. So I don't have to wait too long in between the colors. So once again, I'm going in, dipping my liner brush into that wet dip base, and then I'm drawing a line above the green. And then that's when, and I can't think of the color names off the top of my head. I should have had them pulled up. But once I have that dip base down, that's when I'll dip into this yellow. I think it's maybe pumpkin something. I don't know. I shouldn't try to guess the names. So you can kind of see that rainbow. And side note, this color is so beautiful. I don't think I've had it before. I've used it before. I think it'd be really perfect for, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but like, and maybe because like my Maniology sub box, my Mani by Me box, the theme for June was not Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz. And I think this would make like a perfect yellow brick road type color. That's total tangent. So I'm going to continue on. I'll let you watch because it's really me saying the same thing over and over again. But once I get to the base color, I'll hop back on and kind of explain what I'm doing with the base color. I am so happy with the way this rainbow turned out, but the one thing I want to call out is you saw me do 2 dips of each color on the tip of my nail, but now my nail is uneven where I didn't apply any of the dips. So I want to make sure that I'm filling in that area just to make sure everything is even. So I'm going to be using Fleur from CN Designer Dips as well. This is like my perfect skin tone color. I absolutely love this, and it's a nice opaque color as well. So I'm just taking the same liner brush, and anywhere you can see my, well, it's not my nail, it's a tip that I'm wearing. I'm wearing full coverage tips. But anywhere there's not the rainbow, I'm just going ahead and filling that in with dip base. And then I'm going to do 2 dips of Fleur just to make everything even, just so I have that base color. That way it kind of ties the whole look together. And I will say, because my rainbow is glitter, I mean, I could have, I guess, capped that, just that rainbow in clear, activated, and then done the base. Because I will say, you will notice I did contaminate some of my base with some stray glitters, which you know, it really bugs me that that happened, but it kind of is what it is at this point. So if that, in hindsight, I probably would have just gone ahead and at least activated that rainbow, and that way the glitters would have stayed and not gotten on my solid part of my nail. For the majority of my nail, for the second layer, I did end up using the dip base brush just because it was a lot of surface area just to use the liner brush. But when I got closer to that rainbow, that's when I went in with my liner brush just to get those finer details. But like if it's a larger area, it just takes too long to use a liner brush. So that's why I kind of switched it up on my second layer. So now I want to show you how I make sure that I don't ruin my liner brush, and that's Brush Saver. So I have a couple bottles of these, probably maybe even more of that, because some dip liquid sets you have to buy as a set. You can't separate them, and they come with a Brush Saver, which I never use. But then I started thinking, can it work for a liner brush? Because if you harden your dip top coat brush, you can use your Brush Saver to restore your brush and soften it again. And it works, and I'm super excited because these brush savers are no longer wasting space. So I like to swish it around there, make sure it's getting covered, and I actually end up just keeping it in there overnight just to make sure it's fully saturated. I would at least do a couple of hours just to make sure that it's cleaning out your brush really well, but it works. So if you have some unused bottles of Brush Saver, use it for your liner brush. Total game changer. And then the last thing is I decided for my ring finger that I would do a different color. So I decided to do the red. So this is Rudolph. So I'm going to do 2 dips of Rudolph on my ring finger. And then I'm going to end up capping everything in clear, activating and filing and buffing off camera just to save a little time because I know this video is a little bit longer. After a quick file and buff, here's how the mani's looking. So now I'm going to get into my favorite part, which is dip top coat. And that's what's really going to make these glitters pop. So in order for your dip top coat to dry, it does need activator. So I'm going to apply one final layer of activator to my nails and let that dry for a full 2 minutes before I start in on my dip top coat. Starting in on my first layer of dip top coat, I'm going to apply it in 2 to 3 swipes on each nail. I want to be fairly quick about it and not linger the brush in case there's any excess activator. I don't want to harden my brush. In between each nail, I'm making sure to wipe my brush on a lint-free wipe to remove any excess activator before returning it to the bottle. And then once I'm done with my 5th nail, I'll be ready to go in with my 2nd layer of dip top coat. For my 2nd layer, I can take a couple more swipes if needed, and I want to make sure that I've got my nail fully covered, and I'm also capping my free edge. As always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles with my Scales of Mermaid Cuticle Oil. This is in the scent Stupid Cupid. This was a previous limited edition scent, which is now sold out, so apologies for that. Her limited edition scents are always so great, and I don't know how she does it, but they keep getting better and better. So I definitely recommend you pick up her limited edition scents when she releases them, because they have been selling out super quick lately. You all have been loving them and snatching them up. And don't forget, you can always use my ambassador code Jeannie10 to save 10% off your orders as well. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. I had so much fun creating this mani, and I am just living for these glitters. I was so sad to take this off because I loved this one so much. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.